Well, good morning my YouTube friends, it's Margaret here from M.E.s Orchids, and you might wonder what I'm doing in the garage. We've had a new tumble dryer yesterday, and it's in the garage and it's working, and I said to Keith today, that's marvellous. I said I can put my tripod on that. I said I can use this tray and I can sit down at the same time. So I got the raised eyebrow, but never mind. So why am I bringing you back today? I thought I'd just bring you back. I was watching Insta this morning on his YouTube channel, and let me just have a look what you're looking at now. And how he's converted 3 of his Catasetinae into the PET method. The reason I've got this here is because this one here, I'm showing you now, is the Catasetum pileatum yellow giant. And see, I paid €32 for this last year. They are expensive. And this one came with 2 pseudobulbs, these 2 here, and a little tiny growth. Can't think where it was on one of them, down there. And then it promptly went into dormancy. Now this was put into this method, this PET method, on the 28th of June 19. And because that little growth, yes, that little growth down there, I just started it, it was barely visible, and so I had got this opportunity to transfer it into this PET method, which I did, and then it went into dormancy, 6 months, and then it started to develop a nubbin, which is this nubbin. Look at this. See here, this big humongous pseudobulb, and it started to grow that in December, and it went through December, January, well technically it went through January, February, March, and by March I was beginning to panic because these pseudobulbs were already shrivelling. Then we got April, and then we came into May. And I'll take it out now. I'll just remove this because it's full of water. And I put it in this outer pot. So when I started watering this in May, now this one hasn't got any added slow release fertiliser. So I add this with, this gets fertilised every time. And then since then, see, I waited and I waited and I waited, and I'll show you 2 more at the moment how they're looking, because you've got to wait. And some say, yes, there was that little tiny nubbin, you see, and it died back on me. And some say, well, I don't know whether you should wait or not. But for some reason, and I'm not an expert, don't you know, they say these roots in the natural habitat, these Catasetinae, live very high up, and sometimes they can actually attach to telegraph poles, enormous, high up in the sky type of telegraph poles, and so they've got no medium on them, and they live there quite comfortably. Nobody touches them, and they go through this period where it's nothing but severe drought, and they come through, and it's the trigger. They have to, apparently, they have to work their roots through this sphagnum moss into the bark, and then they hit the reservoir. There's the 2 holes. And then when the reservoir is filled, like this is, then you get roots which sit in the reservoir. And so it's the for some reason, and I don't understand it, these roots, once they start to travel down, and Stephen Van Kempen Lewis suggests 4 inches. So they've got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 4 inches in the sphagnum moss, and he says, and then let them go through the sphagnum moss into the bark. And then once you see them down into that bark, that's the time to start to water them. Now, you know, so that's what I've done. And we're now in virtually July, and as far as I'm aware, maybe you can see, that pseudobulb now has matured. Look at it. I don't think it's going to grow anymore, but compared to these 2 other pseudobulbs, it's already bigger. So by holding off and then fertilising with every feed, these bulbs have plumped up, and we've got an extremely good growth there. Now, since then, this one's appeared. Now, you see, that knocks a nail on the head, in the sense of you shouldn't water until the roots get down. Well, this one was already established, and I've watered, and this one's grown since, and I can't see the roots. So that one's had to grow. I mean, I don't know whether or not the actual size it will grow, but that's grown fully with water, because that's only appeared recently. But there you are, that's what you're looking for. And I've said to Windsor, I said, be careful. I said, when you water, I water by dropping this in to the container of water. But you have to be careful when you lift it out, because if you lift it out and it's facing you, it'll pee all over you, because these holes, of course, you know, and it's surprising how far this water comes out. But there we go. Can you see? And there are the roots. And I put it in this outer black pot for the simple reason it prevents the algae, or the algae build-up. And I have my little tray where it's just dripped a little bit. So now that's that one. So we're all fine with that one now. That's has already been growing, and it's been watered. Now I've got 2 here now, and this is a case of do or don't, because this is the first one. You see that one? Now I had this again. You see, that was €32. I had this last year, and I was so excited this last year because it developed this pseudobulb here. And now when did I have this one? Oh, September 19. And then it developed. You won't see it from there. I don't think you'll see it from there. Sorry about that. Let's see. But right in here, right down in there, it developed a nubbing. And I thought, oh, that's going to be a flower. And Michael McCarthy promptly told me, no, he said, that won't flower this year. I was gutted. I thought, oh God, what have I done wrong now? And he says, no, he says it's out of season, it won't flower this year. And Know It All Michael, that's his Instagram channel. He was right, you know, didn't flower. So that was a pseudobulb it produced last year, and it was fantastic. That was the pseudobulb it came with, and that one, this one, you can see, started to rot. And oh, I thought, goodness, what do I do about that? So I've left well alone, I just moved a lot of this sphagnum moss away so this could dry out. And you can see now we've got little baby attached there. And you see little baby attached there. Ooh, where are we? There's little baby. Little baby's attached there. And we've got, I don't know what this is supposed to be, but they're coming out everywhere. But there's little baby there. And then we've got this one. Can you see the size? So this is Fred Clark Aura After Dark SVO Black Cherry. And there you see, it annoys me, you know, because these roots, some of the roots want to go up. And I don't know if you can see down there, that other growth down there. I mean, will it develop this time into a flower spike? No idea. But that's as shriveled as anything. And this one isn't far behind. And I've repotted this into this container 1st of January. Well, not first, it's just 01, so that's the month of January. And this is how it's been sat, like this, waiting patiently. Sits in full sun on that south-facing window. This one's already got slow-release fertiliser in it. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting for these roots to give me some indication. And I mean, you can see there. You can see there. So one's gone down there. But these, some of these in the middle, have got to have gone down somewhere. And I'm waiting and I'm waiting to see. What I really need is an indication that one of them's hit this area where the bark is. Once I can see that, but you'll notice I have actually just give it a little, well, a little like a tablespoon of water, and you'll see there's a little bit of hydration. But I've got to be careful because with the slow release fertiliser, that's going to activate if I water it. So I'm trying to hold off. And now we're coming towards the end of June. And at some point in July, it might be another fortnight yet. Could be easily be another fortnight before I water this. But I've got to hold off. You've got to have the strength. Because I remember, I don't know if it was this one or the other one, the Catasetinae pileatum. I remember Michael saying, "Oh no, you need to water that." And so I held off, you know. One part of me was thinking, yes, he's right. But then the other part said, no. You see, that bulb is rotting. But that's what you call a dry rot. And that's what happens. And then eventually that bulb, after it's given me baby and baby's okay, that bulb will just rot off. So that's going to now have to wait. And I've got this one here. Right. Let's see if I can lift it up. And this is another one. I've put it in here because what I'll do when this is when it's time to water this, you see this is sat in one of those little tiny pots with the feet on. Right, you see? There. And what I'll do with this one is, of course, just fill that up. Just fill that up with, I mean, I've got all this area here, so there's plenty of no holes in that. But that doesn't matter, it's going to stand, it's got its little feet to stand on. And this has got slow release fertiliser in. And again, now, I had this 13th of March 20. And this is the Cycnoches Wine Delight. There, which is Cycnoches, well, can you see? I don't like to butcher the names. But this was only €19.50. Okay. And it came with these two little tiny pseudobulbs. And it came with this one. So it came with 3. And again, this one came completely saturated, and I can't remember which place, but it's there. Can you see that little area there? There, that one there. It had got a nubbing, and that nubbing just dried up. And I thought, oh, here we go again, we're going to have another one that goes into dormancy, because these are all imported. And now it didn't go into dormancy, it sent out this little growth here, and it sent out baby here, and we've got another one there. Now you can see again that these are now getting a little bit shriveled. I love peeling. Terrible. I've just kind of wedged a piece of glowstone there just to keep that one firm, and this has had nothing, absolutely nothing, and it's a lot smaller, and I mean these roots here, they're just going skyward, they are, so there's no chance of that. Why they won't go down, I've no idea. We've got one deciding to go down, but this won't get watered yet. I might even have to go to the end of July for this. It's a bit worrying, isn't it? But that pseudobulb is still good. It's just these two little ones, and especially this one, it's draining everything. That one's going a bit soft. That's where this one's attached. It's a little bit soft. But what can you do? So that's what I say, somehow you've got to hold back the temptation to water them. You really do have to. And some say, well, no, you know, you should water them. But Stephen Van Kempen Lewis, you know, he's the M.E.s judge, and he thinks they're better for leaving. So, I don't know. And of course, this is the one that I've just repotted into this. I'll come down here, then you can see it down here. And this is the Catasetinae Taiwan Gold. I've had to put another stake in it this morning because I still felt it was a little bit wobbly. And so we've got that new little tiny growth there. And we've got that one, can you see the root there? And it's Taiwan Gold Orange. So that's why the roots aren't green. It's a yellow colour. And whether you're able to see those roots, you see that one's damaged. When you see that one. And we've got the other back one here, slightly damaged. I'm just hoping there's enough strength in that one root, and there's enough strength in that bulb to enable this to send out some more roots, because otherwise I might be struggling. I don't want to lose this growth, but it's a nice big strong pseudobulb, and I think, but you see I've got this one, so this one's going to take the strength as well from here, and not from that little one. Notice I've got a styrofoam peanut, just wedging that in so it's nice and tight. So like I say now, this is in this tall plastic container, and that's got to go down. It's got to go down through there. Now I don't think for 1 minute it's going to manage to get all the way down before I start to water it, but it's got to go quite a distance down. And if anybody's got these Catasetinae types, sorry, Cygnotes type, not Catasetinae, but the Cygnotes type, maybe Annabelle in the orchid room, but she grows hers in a self-watering pot. I'm just wondering at what stage she actually waters hers. you know, I'd like some feedback just from my own confidence more than anything, to see whether or not you know, the way I'm doing this is fine. I mean, Stephen Van Kempen Lewis, of course, he's in Texas, and there we go. And they get it very hot, and he's already mentioned that some of these are very late in producing roots. Anyway, so that's my video for today, which was prompted by M.E.s's video about placing his into PET. Absolutely marvellous how he did that. So I'm going to end my video now. It's quite nice, just sat here in the garage and the door's open. And we've had some rain, but we haven't had the torrential rain that some have actually said we're going to receive. Maybe that'll come later. So let's just bring you up, and I'll get up. And there we are. So that's how big this one is. I'll put it that way. And then, oh, sorry, there we go. Huge thing that is. So these can all go back up into the grow room now, sit on that south-facing windowsill. And thank you for joining me, and I'll be back at some point. Bye bye now.